The kingdom was stunned as if struck by lightning. Gasps and cries filled the air and the people looked at each other in disbelief. The joy and celebration just moments before seemed like a distant memory.
5 years. How could this be?
Ama's face was ashen, her mind reeling with the implications. The kingdom's future, once bright and promising, now seemed uncertain and fragile. Essie's countenance, once bright and radiant, had dimmed like a lantern in the wind. She isolated herself, unable to share the burden of the second message, that she and the 4 leaders had only 4 years to live. As she sat in solitude, a gentle knock on the door broke the silence. Her husbands, concerned for her well-being, had come to lift her spirits. But despite their efforts, Essie remained withdrawn, her sorrow too deep to be alleviated by their charms. The leaders, sensing something was amiss, summoned a meeting with Essie. Didi, AFI, OK, and Soso arrived, their faces etched with worry, and seated themselves on a wooden bench.
Essie, what's wrong?
Didi asked, her voice soft with concern. Essie's gaze remained downcast, her eyes welling up with tears. AFI, the skilled healer, gently coaxed her.
Essie, share your burden with us. We're here to support you.
Ama and Kofi, determined to escape their fate, set out on the narrow pathway inside the forest, hoping to find solace and freedom. But as they walked, the trees seemed to close in around them, and the sound of rustling leaves grew louder. Suddenly, they found themselves face to face with almost 100 men, their eyes gleaming in the dim light of the forest. Ama's heart skipped a beat as she realized they had been ambushed. The men, instructed by Na and Didi the night before, emerged from the shadows, their movements swift and silent. They formed a semicircle around Ama and Kofi, trapping them. Kofi was taken away and locked in a small hut on the outskirts of the kingdom. The leaders believed that his influence was the root of Ama's disobedience, and by separating them, they hoped to break Ama's spirit and prepare her for her destiny. 2 long years passed, and Ama's wedding day finally arrived.
I am to marry the 5 men chosen by the leaders, a union that will secure the kingdom's future.
As Ama exchanged vows with her husbands, Kofi was finally released from his prison.
The condition of his release was tied to my marriage, a cruel twist that left Kofi feeling bitter and betrayed.
Fear gripped him, its icy fingers wrapping around his heart.
I've never felt so alone, so vulnerable.
But then, he looked down at Miko, his pet monkey, perched on his shoulder.
Miko's big round eyes seem to hold a deep understanding, as if he knows we are in this together.
As they walked, the forest grew darker, the shadows twisting into menacing shapes. Suddenly, a snarling pack of hyenas emerged from the underbrush, their eyes fixed on Kofi. Miko sprang into action, chattering loudly as if speaking to the hyenas. But all Kofi could hear was the roaring of the wind, a deafening sound that drowned out Miko's words. The hyenas, however, seemed to understand, their snarls subsiding as they backed away, disappearing into the trees.
How did you do that?
He whispered, amazed. Miko chattered again, as if explaining, but Kofi could only hear the wind's gentle rustle through the leaves.
I'm grateful for your mysterious gift, Miko, our only hope of surviving in this unforgiving wilderness.
As the night deepened, Kofi and Miko settled beside a giant tree, its sprawling branches a natural canopy against the drizzling rain. Miko's fur wrapped warmly around Kofi, a comforting embrace as they drifted off to sleep. But Kofi's slumber was short-lived, as flashes of his past began to surface. He saw his father's face, strong and kind, with a gentle smile. Then, his mother's image appeared, her belly swollen with pregnancy, her face contorted in pain. The memory unfolded like a vivid dream. His mother, in labor, cried out as the heavy rain pounded against their small hut. The flashback faded, leaving Kofi gasping, his heart racing. Miko, sensing his distress, tightened his fur around Kofi, offering comfort. The rain continued to drizzle, but Kofi felt a sense of peace settle over him, as if the memory had been a long-hidden key, finally unearthed. As dawn broke, Kofi emerged from the giant tree's shadow, feeling a sense of liberation wash over him. The fears that had gripped him for so long seemed to have dissipated, replaced by a sense of wonder and possibility.
Miko, sensing my joy, chatters and plays as we continue our journey into the heart of the forest.